Welcome back, Combat Confidential. Today's guest is a pro fighter from Team Ryano, currently signed with Cage Warriors, IMAF World Champ, BJJ Purple Belt, which I was actually surprised to find out. My opinion, future UFC contender, the GTA selector, Mr. Ger Harris.
What's the story,
Hello,
brother?
sir. Welcome. Thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate
anytime,
it.
Yeah. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Look, so a brief question, because you were just in Thailand. So what was it? Why'd you end up in Thailand? How did it even come to be? Because you briefly said you were only supposed to be there for 2 weeks, and then you pushed it out for.
Yeah, so what happened was the people who make me fight kits, Elo, Molly and Koi,
Yeah.
they had planned a retreat, and I had planned to go to Thailand a couple of times. Max Lally was over there, and he was saying, you need to get over here. So I was like, yeah, I'll
Everyone's
definitely
going
get
over
over.
there.
But every time it was like going to Booker or something would just come up, know what I mean?
Yeah.
Family wise or just anything. And then they were organising it for April. I was fighting at the start of April, so it nearly just all came together perfectly.
Heck yeah.
So then I was only planning to do the retreat bit with them, so I went over a week before them, and then do 2 weeks of the retreat, and then after that, I was like, no, I'm not going home. Not a hope.
That's awesome. Where did you train out of? What gym was it?
Bangtail.
Okay, right on. There's so many people, at least in the Irish scene, that keep going over there. It seems to be very, very popular.
Yeah, there was a lot of Irish lads when we got there. Like obviously James Gallagher, he's trained now there full time.
Yeah.
Kiefer was over there while I was there. Nahom Weddy, he was there. A young fella from Shaolin, Podrick. There was a girl there. Now, of course, me because I'm brutal with fake names.
Same.
There was a couple there, and then just people blowing in from everywhere. Like, but it was great. Like, that's and awesome. Then there's Connor, the boxing coach. He's from Derry. Like, so
I enjoyed watching your stories while you were over there. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was some crack. I'm telling you.
Okay, look, I just got a few questions here, just to help me get to know you a bit better. Just quick. First thing that comes to mind: coffee or tea?
Tea.
Tea? Really?
Yeah. If I drink coffee, I'd be riddled in anxiety. I don't know what it is. I just get like a sense of like doom or something. It's like something bad's gonna happen.
Right.
And then your heart is going off.
How do you take your tea?
Tea, small bit of milk, 3 sugars.
Sugar?
Sweet.
Oh my goodness. I think you're the first Irish person, at least, that takes sugar with their tea that I've met.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. I think on this podcast, at least, it's like 90% coffee as well.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so...
No, I don't like that. I used to drink coffee when I worked on building sites and stuff. Now you're getting up at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, kind of...
Starting work at 6 just to perk you up. But
yeah.
At that stage, I believe now you had to go into bed. Know what I
mean? What is your favourite childhood memory?
Oh, Jesus. Fucking loads. I don't know, maybe just knocking about on the roads with my mates, playing fucking catch and bash and manhunt, tip the can, all them sort of things. Love spending time with all my family when I was a kid. Like, my cousins are all similar age to me, so going over to my big cousins and chilling out with them. And
that's cool.
Know what I mean?
Did you have a big family, or?
Yeah, I do have a big family.
Was everyone nearby as well?
Everybody's nearby, like loads of cousins and stuff like that. In my own house, there's only me, my sister, and my little brother. But my little sister's pregnant now, so she's going to be having a baby right after I fight.
Oh, that's good.
Next month.
Congratulations.
Yeah, be good.
Where about are you from exactly?
Ballymun.
Okay.
Yeah, Ballymun. Grew up in Ballymun, then lived in town for a few years in Hardwick Street, with me nanny. Well, just up the road from Hardwick Street, and then back to Ballymun then.
Right on. Favorite movie or TV show?
Oh, favorite movie probably Good Will Hunting or Shawshank Redemption. They're two of my favorites.
I love how they play Shawshank on television a lot.
Yeah, it's sick, isn't it?
Yeah, so you get to see how good of a movie it is all the time.
Oh, it's really
a great
good.
Movie.
And funny, when my outfit was telling me when that came out in the pictures, nobody went to see it.
No, it didn't. I don't think it did very well in the theaters or in the cinema. But yeah, no, it's a very good movie.
Yeah, cracker.
It was underrated at the time, but I think people understand now.
Yeah. TV show. Did you ever watch that Mindhunters?
What one is that? Is that the?
So it's one about the FBI, but it's how they set up the psychological department of it and stuff like that. But it's all based through a book. And the interview serial killers in it.
Yeah, no, I've seen it, but I haven't sat down and watched it.
Yeah, there's only 2 seasons of it. I don't know if they're making any more, but the 2
That's
seasons.
good. That's a good one. You recommend that one?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm real one. If we watch a series, I could watch it over and over again. Know what I mean?
Yeah. I just started watching Tulsa King.
Oh, I haven't even.
It's got Sylvester Stallone in it.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It's like a New York mobster moves to Tulsa, Oklahoma, middle cow country.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's pretty good. I'm only like 3 episodes in, but it's not terrible. Yeah.
I'm on that Fallout now. One of my mates put me onto it. It's meant to be a PlayStation game. I haven't played it though. They'll be all playing it.
Yeah, I haven't played the game either, but I've been wanting to watch it as well.
Yeah. It's half decent, like.
Yeah, not bad.
I think I need to play the game first, something to know what's going on in it. Know what I mean?
Right on. Favorite superhero?
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Right. I feel like he's the most realistic almost.
Yeah, innit? Yeah. I think when I was growing up, all them movies were just sort of like, as I was like getting a little bit older, you could properly enjoy them. Like, that's what I used to. Me and my dad used to go, not as much now. I wish we did a little bit more, but we used to go to pictures for every type of film. Know what I mean? All the action films, especially, and you'd come out of the pictures feeling like a superhero after watching them. Like, fucking do that. Know what
I mean? You're a morning person or a night owl?
Little bit of both.
Really?
Some days I can bounce up at bleeding 6 in the morning and I'll be flying, and other days I'll be awake till bleeding. I'll be awake till 6 in the morning.
Yeah, no, I definitely prefer to be up at night.
Depends how the week of training is as well, or what's coming up, you know.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's kind of how I am. Like, if I have something planned for the morning, I'm up.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm ready for it. But if I have that choice, if I'm making my own schedule for the day,
sleeping in
as much as I can. Yeah. Who's someone who inspires you the most?
Don't really know. Like, obviously you can take the easy route and say your family and stuff, but I think I just sort of nearly motivate myself. I like looking at fighters and stuff. I want to have what he has, but it's like I wouldn't be like, oh, they inspire me, that sort of way.
Yeah,
maybe just myself.
Right on. That's good. You know, it's good to be able to look at yourself and kind of see your progression and take inspiration from your own hard work.
Maybe, do you know what? Easily Korda, like my friend Korda, he's played. Okay. He's only had to getting injured like straight off the bat. Like, just looking at him now, and you're like, how the fuck are you getting on? Like, know what I mean? Like, how are you still trooping along? Fucking crazy. Like, I was up with him the weekend, and he, like, just talking to him, and then like how hard he's had to be working in his training. Like, we call it training because it's training, but like his rehab for his injury and stuff, just unbelievable. Like,
yeah, no, what was I trying to say? It's definitely a situation of like, don't count yourself out.
Yeah.
To be able to make it back from.
In fairness to Court there, his mindset was always bulletproof. Like, even from when I was a kid, he was always the same. It was like,
that's good.
He's always like that type of switched on, positive. This is the way it's gonna go, and if it doesn't, we'll ride it till the wheels fall off. Like,
yeah, it's difficult to, a normal man,
he's made a difference too. Definitely. Know what I mean?
Yeah,
definitely
cut from a different cloth for
exactly.
Sure. Yeah. All right, a couple would you rathers. These are always fun. Would you rather have a personal chef or a personal chauffeur?
Chef.
Yeah, same. Yeah, definitely.
1,000,000%.
Yeah. Do you like to eat?
Love eating.
Yeah. What's your favorite food?
Oof.
Or type or?
Favorite dinner for the house, like shepherd's pie or lasagna. My mom makes a good dinner. My mom, like, eating out, probably pizza. There's a place out Airway is Slice of Naples. One of my mates was working there, but they actually sponsored me before. They don't sponsor me anymore. But the pizza is unbelievable. I'll go back until I'm bleeding 100 kilo.
I love a good pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza's probably a top 3 favorite foods.
Yeah, easily,
I could
isn't
eat
it?
Pizza all the time.
Versatile as well. You can pour that on it.
It's hard to screw it up, but when you do screw it up, it's like, come on, like,
you can't beat pizza.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I like enchiladas as well. You can make them at home as well, though. They're nice.
Thank you. Okay. Would you rather have your browsing history leaked or your text messages?
Be arrested for both, probably. Probably browsing history. I'm not much on Google.
Oh man, no text messages all day. Stay away from my internet history.
Yeah.
A lot of questionable stuff in there. Don't judge me. Okay, last one here. Would you rather have the trash talking ability of Chael Sonnen or the zero filter of Sean Strickland?
I don't know, Chael sort of legendary, isn't he? And
He
then
is.
Sean Strickland's only getting the back end of the stick now until he's done, know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'll retire and they'll say, oh, he's one of the best ever. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, probably Chael.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like sometimes when it sounds like he's rapping, you know,
Yeah.
and like he's almost like someone's gonna come out with like a boombox and have a beat going for him.
Yeah.
You know, he's so good and flawless with it, and
That's it, yeah.
yeah,
Brilliant.
heck yeah. All right, we'll jump right into it here.
Yeah, sounds good.
Talked about a little bit about kind of who inspired you most, but you know, how
Like, I think probably I didn't think about that well enough. Probably when I was first starting, obviously Courtois was like one of my biggest inspirations, know what I mean? But I
Yeah.
felt like I've come to a point now and where I've gone pro as well, and we're both on the pro scene as well. So I think it was sort of like, right, I think every sort of milestone you pick up, it's like your inspiration will change constantly. Like your favourite film, it might change seasonally, you know, that
yeah.
sort of way. And I think Courtois inspires me a lot more ways than just fighting. Like he inspires me just more as a person and things like that. Where like fighting wise, like Forster would have been like Roddy. Like obviously he was he was my
Oh, yeah.
first coach, and like obviously I love training with him, and he had trained Courtois, so like he was a big inspiration for me at the start. Where now it's like I don't really look up to anybody because it's like I want to be the person people are looking up to now at this stage. You get me?
That's good. Yeah, to kind of want to be that role model for
Exactly. Yeah.
for the next the next group in after you.
Like
you
it's
know?
funny, like me and Lewis, one of the lads out of the gym, Lewis Bourne, really, really good. Like me and him coach the kids' classes, and then my little brother's like he's training since he's 4 as well, so he's in the kids, and like the high level kids bounce between. They'll train with us a little bit, and they'll do the kids' classes, and then they'll be over with Mikey O'Reilly and Donna Maid as well. But I find like the kids will come in and they'll be like, oh, I was watching it on YouTube, or their man dad's be telling you that we're at to be watching it, or we were watching it on the telly, like on UFC Fight Pass or something like that. So it's funny when they come in and say things like that, and you're sitting there scratching your head saying, what the fuck?
So like when it comes to having these types of people around you, people who inspire you, and I guess it doesn't have to be one person, but people who inspire you, and then teaching kids, teaching the next generation. How does that help kind of like shape you as a fighter?
Well, I think it just hones your skills in. Know what I mean? You can't really teach if you don't understand exactly what you're doing. And I
That's
think
correct.
as soon as you start teaching, like I think most people get that blue belt and then they'll probably start helping out with classes. That's where they start to get the go of like, oh, I can really do something with this then. And jiu-jitsu wise anyway, and they'll start helping out with classes, and then before you know it, it's like, oh, here, I'm sick, can you take that class? And then it sort of progresses from there. But I find like that, if you don't really understand what you're doing, try explain something to a beginner, and then it's like whether it's basic footwork or an armbar or something, you really have to break things down to the ground of it and sort of build the technique up then. So I think it makes you a more all round fighter altogether, and yeah, I think it just stands to you then. I think in the long run, especially I find teaching kids and teaching like beginner adults it's the same without all the messing,
Yeah.
that sort of way. Then when you start teaching like the fighters class, like in Ryano, like you might go up and I might be like staring a class. You might go up and Graham will be teaching us something, like Graham Sheehan or James Sheehan, or Lewis might be like teaching a little bit, because all of us have different skill sets, but or like different looks on techniques might have a little small few details that you'll change in and around. And then obviously you have like Neil Seardy and Redzer and Andy who will oversee the class anyway, know what I mean? But sometimes they just let us run with it and see where the technique is going, because like that, we've all trained in different places. So I've like been just to Thailand, I've been in Bulgaria, I've trained in a different gym for nearly 14 years. So all the techniques are sort of the same, singles, doubles, but all little details might change, know what I mean? And that's what the best about a sport. It's nobody, no one person is right.
Do you think it's like critical for skills development to teach?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
I I definitely think so. Especially for you to understand the sport, because like I find what like I started to realise was like a lot of gyms will just do striking, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, maybe judo as well,
Yeah.
but and then you'll have your wall wrestling where it's like that's probably the most MMA sort of thing, but a lot of places don't add in ground and pound, or like if they're doing wall wrestling, it's only wrestling and there's no like breaking off, throwing shots, re-entering to get the takedown, little things like that. I think from coaching, I was like started to realize, Jesus, we need to make this a lot more MMA and like bring your striking into your wrestling, like box wrestle or shoot boxing, whatever you'd like
Yeah.
to call it. And then when you're going to the floor, adding in ground and pound and stuff like that. And I think that's something I learned off Owen himself. It's like all the classes were quite mixed around. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you'd have your striking classes, but then you'd have your MMA classes that are starting on the feet into wrestling, not just coming in and trying to be Olympic wrestlers, because probably never going to be realistically, you know.
Yeah. So you did a bit of coaching, but you also did a bit of coaching with the Train Alta program.
Yeah.
How did you find that?
We found it great, yeah,
Yeah.
because you're taking like a lot of them a lot older than me, you know what I mean? All like either like I found most of the people who done it like either had spare time or like they were running a business so they could afford to take the morning off, or like to
Yeah.
be honest, it was little bit like people doing it, little bit of mix of everybody. Like my own dad done it and stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's a taxi driver, so
Oh,
it was
that's
like
cool.
yeah, it was deadly. Even the fight, that's when he walked out the fight, I said right before it was like change his name to that's my dad. So and me and my dad have the same name, so it's a bit funny, like.
That's cool.
But yeah, the Train Alka program was brilliant, I found, because you're taking lads who may have played a bit of sport, you're getting some people who haven't done anything, but they're a lot older, know what I mean? So they really just want to get in and learn, and you don't
We're
show
not
up.
that much older. Okay.
But I mean, like
No,
30s and stuff like that, you know?
30 isn't old.
Yeah,
No, I know what you mean. I know
yeah.
what you mean.
But like that, like lot more life experience than
Yeah.
me anyway, you know what I mean? They're probably looking at me saying, how's this bleeding little nipper? And he's fucking...
Is that a bit odd, do you think, to have someone who's senior to you kind of looking down on you for, or not looking down, so that I didn't mean like that. I mean like looking at you for inspiration and, kind of coaching.
Yeah, it's a little bit mad, because I think obviously the first time they come in, and I'd say a lot of smaller fighters probably get this, like if you roll with like Nadine Abbott or Jamie Abbott, like they're like Nadine's played nearly 10 kilos lighter than me and Jamie, like, but like you roll with I have to roll with like the same way I'd roll with a lad, know what I mean? Our level is just really, really high.
Yeah.
So, and then if like Jamie's the same size as me, I'm sure if you went into a gym and you didn't know Jamie and he wrapped you up, you'd be like, what the fuck is going on now, that sort of way.
Yeah.
So I think for the lads coming in and seeing me being a lot smaller, and then obviously some of them probably know you from the gym, or like they're the kids' dads and stuff, and they want to get a little bit of a taste for what their kids are doing. They'll know you. But for people just to walk in and walk onto a mat, and like especially if my face was shaved, I look like a bleeding baby, so they're probably looking at me saying, "Who's this little young for the show?" I think that can be a little bit funny, but then as the weeks go on and the like you were saying, you're starting, like you're one of them people that probably inspire the lads, and they're watching your fights and they're like, oh, that's unreal, and know what I mean? They're coming in and talking to you about you and stuff you're forgetting about, and you're like, how does he even know this? Know what I mean? It's cool, like. But I found the Train Alta program very good. Like lads coming in, some people who don't even know how to fall, and then some people who are just like take to it like a match. Know what I mean? Like one of the lads who actually sponsors me now, Lee and Simon. Simon done the Alta program, and my other sponsor, Vinny, he was actually one of the first people to sponsor me, Vince and Gertie. They all done the Alta program. So Vinny done it first, and then I think the next year Simon and Lee done it. But like Lee now is at the progressing on to, he's looking for amateur fights, and
that's cool. Yeah, I was just about to ask that. Like, did you see many or anyone kind of move on from that? From Alta to
a handful of people. Like another young fella, Roe, one of my mates. He's actually, him and Lee would sort of pal together and train together a lot now. Road started doing PTs with me, and then I was like, why don't you do the Alta program, because you get a quick fight out of it and it's probably better than doing the novice stuff. It's a little bit more like thrown straight into it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, why don't you start fighting amateur after that? And then he ended up doing it, and now, like, from what I heard, he's like one of the more, like, he's one of the harder rounds in the gym around where he's training. So
that's cool. I love hearing that, because I didn't, I think it was the last season of the Wimp to War before they changed the name.
yeah. So I done the last season. That was the first year I coached it.
Yeah,
and then I done, I think, maybe 2 seasons after that, because it's like the start of the year and the end of the year.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing you there.
Oh yeah.
But what was I saying? There's a few folks that I trained with while doing it that they really took it seriously, and they've progressed into like a small amateur career, and
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's amazing, and I think it's a very, it's not underrated. It's, what am I trying to say?
I think more people should probably experience it.
Yeah, like it's something where I think like, people see it and then they kind of,
I don't want to be punched in the face or this or that. But
unless you're mildly into it already, then you're just going to be put off by it. But it's not at all like that.
No, it's like, as well, a good coach will take you from the ground up. Know what I mean? Like, to be honest, like, who doesn't have that sort of, like, a beginner with the flinching when you're throwing punches at them, even if you're only shadowing fronting them and stuff like that. But like a good coach will take you through, and like will give you confidence in your like defensive ability, and then sort of build you on from there, or they'll give you the basic striking techniques in terms of stuff like that, and then build up your defense, and then you'll go into sort of doing live drills. Like, you're not coming in and sparring from the start of it. Yeah, like, yourself, you've done it. It's like a couple of weeks of like technique week, and then probably some live drills, and then you'll walk into sparring. And so, to be honest, I believe anybody can do it, and it's a really unique experience. Know what I mean?
Yeah. I think we're fortunate that in Ireland, generally speaking, in Ireland, across the board, all the gyms in the country are pretty good.
Yeah. There's a lot of high level gyms and a lot of high level coaches.
And then quite a few of them take on that program as well. So you're getting, these high level gyms that are willing to accept, someone off the street basically, and to teach them in my opinion, a very useful skill. So
definitely, there's nothing more comforting than knowing you're able to defend yourself. Like,
absolutely,
know what I mean? Even enough to defend and run away, because that's probably what you should do. But if all else comes to, like, if it comes to the right way or the wrong way, if you put it that way, like, if there's a confrontation and you need to throw a few hands or snatch a body lock and dump them onto their neck, then
or not even
do that.
It doesn't even need to be physical, but like at work, even if you're dealing with like I don't know, like you have an asshole colleague or something like that, it kind of gives you that confidence to maybe stand up for yourself or for someone else.
1,000,000%.
So yeah, definitely.
I find, like, I don't argue with anybody.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? Maybe playing family and stuff like that. That'd be probably about it. But I mean, obviously my work environment is the gym now, so my gym is like my family, like, so. But I mean, like that, I remember working on building sites, and especially like the lads who like foremen and stuff like that, like,
they all think they're tough guys.
Yeah, and then like me just having the confidence to say, I'll smash your bleeding face in. Like, what are you gonna do? Know what I mean? Like when people are being rude to you, or like they're treating you like shit or something like that, or like that, you get some like. Now it's not every electrician, but like some of the electricians, like some of the lads that are ahead of you, know what I mean, or like old timers, like they don't really like. They've probably seen 100 apprentices, and they're bleeding probably sick of seeing them now, that sort of way, or sick of showing them stuff. And like, you can get some of them who can be like, probably get it in any job, but from my experience, get some of them that are bleeding, they're probably fed up with dealing with younger lads, and or they don't like the cheekiness and stuff like that, which I probably would be, and they get smart with you. But having the confidence to turn around and say, you shut your fucking mouth, and they're like, what? Who are you? Like, who's gonna dance in your head? That's who.
Yeah. All right. So, what was it about MMA that kind of initially, drew you in? How old were you for one when you first started?
I think I was 10 and I had to pretend I was 11 to do the teens class.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like obviously when I was growing up, I used to love like always into like action movies, like superheroes and stuff like that. And then then it progresses on. You start watching the WWE, which are there,
Yeah.
and all your mates are watching it and stuff like that. And then I used to have a trampoline out my back, and we used to put the boxing gloves on, and me and my mates used to punch the head off each other. We used to bleed.
Used to do that too.
Yeah, the lads on my road even say to me now, bleeding. Remember we used to be killing each other on the trampoline, and now you're a bleeding fucking world
Real
class
deal.
fighter, like,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? But what happened was I had a mate, Ryan Hannigan, and he was like, I'm at the starting kickboxing,
Okay.
but we sort of do like a little bit of wrestling in it as well. And I was like, I had started boxing when I was 8, but I was in and out of the gym. It wasn't like fully
You weren't
consistent. I didn't want to be a boxer, know what I mean? But I
It wasn't
enjoyed.
serious. It was just
Yeah,
for fun.
but I really enjoyed it. Know what I mean?
Okay.
It's more just to protect myself. Like I think my dad put me in it for, and I did enjoy the training, but I just wasn't like I want to be a boxer. And then like that, my mate had started up in Owens, and I remember him telling me, and I was always the young flat on the road who would play. Say if someone came around and robbed me and my friend's football, I'd be always the one who would step up and have a straightener and take the ball back, that sort of way. So I was always played getting lumps knocked down me or knocking lumps out with somebody. So he had started that, and I said to myself, I'm not having someone else be a better fighter than me. So I ended up going up with him, and that's where it all started. I think first class went up and learned how to do an arm bar from bottom side control.
Okay.
And now that's me bread and butter. Know what I mean? Arm bars are probably my favourite submission. And if you roll with me, I'm just going for arms. So I like to play around in the gym in fights. I'll take anything off you, but like that, if I can get an arm bar, I will.
Do you train in the gi at all or no?
I used to train a lot in the gi, and then I stopped for a while because I was only doing MMA.
Yeah.
I do want to come back competing in jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, but I think because Ryano's such a it's such a grappling based gym, like the level of grappling in Ryano is unbelievable. Like some nights you can walk onto the mats and there could be 9 black belts there. It's really unbelievable. So there's loads and loads of people to learn off, and like really traditional. A lot of classes would be in the suits. So when I'm not in fight camp, I do a lot more in the gi now, and then when I'm in fight camp, I try keep it to, I try save, like rather than me say come up and down kickboxing and gi, I try like in fight camp, I'll do a session with Serdi on a Tuesday and Thursday, and then that evening I'll probably do another session, and I'll probably run that morning, rather than staying on and doing an extra gi class, I'll get more MMA grappling in with somebody with a bit more experience.
That for your career wise, like, totally makes sense to
but I do really enjoy the gi.
Me too.
I'm not very good at choking people with the suit, but I like that it slows it down, and you have to learn like obviously different techniques. Obviously it gives you a lot more grips as well. So I like, if I'm in the gi, I like playing spider guard and trying to helicopter armbar people and stuff like that. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So like when you first started, was there like kind of like or not even when you first started, like maybe you doing it for a few years, a couple of years, like was there kind of a moment where you just were like things just clicked and you're like, the
first class, I loved it. I just loved it from the first class, because like that, I was mad into the WWE and stuff as a kid. So when we started doing that, and it was like if you watch it and they do some of the submissions, you'd look at them now and you're like, there's a triangle, there's a yoke, there's a Kimura, and then some of them are just played mad looking things, know what I mean? But like that, it was like, oh, we're actually able to do this now, know what I mean? Or we're actually able to do submissions and take people down. And then obviously I had done a little bit of boxing, so then we were learning to kick, and I think I really did just love it from the start. And then I think after 2 months I done my first competition, and I competed against it was me, Ryan, and 2 other lads. I don't know if the 2 other lads are still competing. I can't even remember their names. It was that long ago. But I remember I had won 2 matches and lost 1 match. So I had beat one of the lads who had a bit more experience than me, and I lost to one of the lads that had a lot more experience than me. And Owen was like, that's unbelievable. And I was like, well, I loved that. Know what I mean? I loved the competition side of it, and then I done every competition for a couple of years then, and I think I had lost one jiu-jitsu match or something. I was competing and everything. I think Ryan Keogh, you were saying he only lives across the road. He ankle locked me in a competition. I think he was one of the first people to beat me. And then I remember doing jiu-jitsu competition where it was more points. Like I had finished every match with a sub, so I had never really even understood the points. And then I remember I was rolling with a guy. He was more of a wrestler base. I think he was out of Phantom Gym, and he sort of just kept me in guard. I'd flick up a submission, he'd get out of it, and then he'd pass. So at the end of it, he had more points than me, and I was like, "Fuck this jiu-jitsu." And then I kept competing right up till blue belt then, and yeah, that was that. Then I had started competing MMA, so the jiu-jitsu competition slowed down quite a bit. I think as well, getting a little bit more experience, and the higher your belts goes, like stuff like that, the more leg locks are, and afraid of getting injured and stuff. So I just stuck to MMA, like.
Right on. So you decided to go pro.
Yeah.
What was your first like? Hold on, let me rephrase this. You decided to go pro, and first of all, what did your family think of that?
Well, I think, you know what, like I was saying, I loved it from the start, and I was like, once I got into it and you started to learn what sport you were doing, so you start to figure out about the UFC, and you go and watch back and watching Pride, and then like Owen was fighting in the Contender series, and then there was like the likes of Neil Seardy and Redzar, like you'd be watching them, and they were fighting on Cage Warriors and loads of other shows and stuff like that, and then like, so you're going back and you're like figuring out like who's Irish fighters, like after you learn what the UFC is, and you start seeing all these people, and you're like, I can do that. Know what I mean? I think I'm real one of them. It's like, if I'm doing something, I want to be the best at it. Know what I mean? So like, when I was watching Owen fight, I was like, I want to be as good as him. But then I was like, I'm gonna be better than him. And then there's McGregor, and it's like, I want to be as good as him. Then it's like, I'm gonna be better than him, and stuff like that. And yeah, and then watching like all the old Ultimate Fighters and stuff like that. I think like my favourite fighter for years was like Forrest Griffin, like, know what I mean? Wasn't even good, like, well, he was good for his time, but I mean, you look at it now and you're like, what Anderson Silva was able to just do to him, know what I mean? But it's like, he was my favourite fighter just from watching that show. So I was like, starting to like support all this, and
that show was like a video game to me.
It's unbelievable.
It was so cool. And then I remember when that show came out, they had the UFC video game.
Yeah.
And I would watch that, and then
try to run the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
I used to do the same things. If I was learning, like if I was doing something in the gym, I'd be at home playing the PlayStation. I'd be like, I'm gonna take him down and armbar him now, because I knew what it was. Now, that sort of way. Or like in striking, I always had a decent level of striking, but like, say if you were playing it in the house with your mates, I'd be like using an actual double jab cross, and they'd be like, you're bleeding pinging me with that, will you fuck off? And know what I mean? Because you actually know what strikes go behind one or the other, and the pad is set up for it to be like that, isn't it? So
but like I said, when you decided to go pro, like, you know, how did your mom feel about this?
Oh, sorry, yeah. I don't know. I was doing it since I'm 10 years of age, so I think it was just a natural progression, that sort of way. I think the hardest thing for me, ma and dad, was when I decided to like leave work and just do it full time. Because one thing my dad always said to me growing up was like, he was like, have a fallback plan. Now, that sort of way, he's like, if you have an apprenticeship, you'll always have something to do. But I didn't mind the work. Like, I'd shovel shy for hours. I don't give a bollocks what I'm doing now, that sort of way. But I knew what I wanted to do. And then I started to get to a stage where I was getting so fed up with the work, or fed up with the lads I was working with more. So the last company I worked with, like the lads, like most people, I remember like a lot of the lads I first started working with, they all thought it was the business that I was fighting, and some of them actually came and watched me fighting and stuff like that. And then I was at the winning the world championships, and then I came back, and then I was at the changing companies and stuff, and I remember I was going to the world championships again, and the lads were like, what are you even doing? Like, would you not just be an electrician? I was like, what are you fucking on about? I was like, I'm already like an amateur world champion in one of the hardest sports in the world, I was like, I know I'm gonna be like, I know how good I am, and I know my personality, and I know I'm shooting for the stars now, that sort of way. And they were just like, oh, you're mad, and all they talk about was football and tools, and I had interest in neither. So
Yeah,
it was like
same.
real clash. So I actually stop eating lunch with them and all. And I remember I was sitting in a van with a fella, Anto, and he was like, it's like, why don't you just stop and give it a fucking go? And I was looking at him and I was saying, like, this is some fella who's playing labouring on building sites, and he's telling me to go give it a go, and me, the fucking idiot, is saying, oh, I don't know. And then I was like, then that's sort of where Vinny came in. Vinny was like, I was talking to my dad about it, and then I was talking to Vinny about it, because not just a sponsor, he's a family friend now, know what I mean? And like I've coached his young flit and stuff. I'm actually going away to I brought them away to Bulgaria and then to Abu Dhabi and stuff like that. Um and like Vinny was like, why don't you? And he was like, sure, I'll support you. This is like, it doesn't give me money, but it's like if I need supplements or I needed something, it was like
That's cool.
he was there and he helped me out and really kickstarted it for me. So I had actually stopped walking before I had went pro, and then sort of the natural progression was to go pro. Then I was struggling to get amateur fights, so I had sort of fought everybody there was to fight, and then you're only waiting around for the IMAFs, and
Yeah.
people aren't fighting you in between. You're only fighting every 6 months now, that sort of way, so not really ideal. So yeah, when I went pro, I think everybody was just delighted to see I was gonna start making a few quid from it, and like I'm in a really good position now in terms of like I'm signed with Cage Warriors. The natural progression from Cage Warriors is to the UFC, and that's what I've always wanted. So yeah, I'm in a really good position with that in terms of where I'm going, and I have good people support me and sponsor me and stuff like that. So like I could be naming out my sponsors here probably in 15 minutes straight, or anybody who's helped me now, that sort of way. So yeah, I think I'm in a really, really good position. Like,
That's awesome. Pause for a sec. Forgot to start that one.
nah,
But
no,
we're good. That one, the main one's still going, so we're good.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's gotta be great. And your parents too have to, or family in general, kind of have to have that little bit of a sense of relief, even that like, okay,
Oh, this is gonna be it.
he's
Actually
gonna
is a
do something.
career
Yeah,
now. Know what
yeah,
I mean?
exactly.
Where I found like I think they even started to see like I started coaching. I think or helping out with coaching at least when I was like 14, 15. Know
Okay.
what I mean? Like that's when I got my blue belt. So I had started helping and coaching and stuff like that. Like I was actually coaching the kids or coaching the teens, and
Yeah.
like these young fellas were the same age as me. Now that sort of way. So um then as I got older and then I had stopped walking, I started to do PTs and started to take on a lot more classes in the gym. And then I think me doing the Alta program, like I was going up and it was like something consistently every morning.
Yeah.
And then I think my dad done it, and like it was, he always knew I was good and he's always been proud of me and stuff. But I think for him to see like,
What you can actually do.
yeah, how
Yeah.
much I actually understand the sport inside out, and obviously me level of coaching and me level of like fighting, I think he was like, right, oh, that sort of way. Um, yeah, I think they've always supported me, and even now, I think like me ma and dad understand it a lot as well. So it's like, me
Do
ma,
they come to your fights?
ah, yeah,
Yeah.
they've
Oh,
been
okay.
to every
Good. Good.
they've been to every fight except for the IMAFs in Bahrain
Yeah.
and Rome. But they've been to every fight. But like my ma does, like she helps me out a lot with meal prep
That's
and
awesome.
stuff like
That's
that. And my
awesome.
dad's always helped me out with training. My dad's always been handy and stuff. So like he done a bit of boxing here and there and white collars back in the day. So he was always able to hold pads for me and stuff like that. And like even I was away with Kiefer Crosby recently in Thailand. He was like me and Kiefer always knew each other, but it was like that was like the first time we've actually palled around together. Know what I
Kind of a
mean? So
bonding moment.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
really cool. Like because it was like we always knew each other, but we never actually sat down and spoke. And
Yeah.
we actually turns out we had a lot in common. Like Kiefer was from town. Like he was like sort of raised by his nanny as
Oh,
well,
that's
and
cool.
like his nanny passed away, and similar things when my nanny passed away, and our heads went to a similar headspace. So that was a real it was a mad one to talk to someone with such a similar like sort of backstory in terms of stuff like that. Um, but the point I was getting to was sorry, where was I going with that? Like, Keith was saying he used to watch like me and my dad hitting the pads
Oh
together, and he
yeah,
used to say, oh, he always thought that was the bleeding
that's
business. He
cool.
was like, he thought it was like it was unreal that I trained with me dad. Know what I
And then
mean?
yeah,
And
and
it was probably something I took for granted, but now where I come up to like like I could bring me dad at any time, being like, here, I want to go up to the gym and do an hour of pads, and he actually understands it now. My dad's a big lad, but like I can shoot takedowns on him, and I'm not be like a bleeding fish and just falling over. Know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
I can shoot a takedown on him, or he might like when he's hitting the pads, he might like try spoil the walk, or he might drive me towards the wall, or he
okay,
might be at the wall like throwing the shots, and then he'll like enter a little bit. He won't shoot like big doubles and singles outside. Know what I mean? He'd be a little bit too slow for me, but against the wall, he can put pressure on me, and I'll have to move him and stuff like that, which is
that's cool. That is a very unique relationship to have with someone who's more or less training you or preparing you.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
so
It's like, and I think like me and my dad have always been like best friends. I
yeah,
remember when he used to drive me into football, we'd be always having like mad chats and like talk to me out about know what I mean?
that's cool.
Like I mean, you name a topic, I'll probably talk to me dad about it. So like then for us like to be able to train, like for us to be able to train together, and then for the turn round, then we start coaching him. So like now it's like it's just even more. Know what I mean? It's like it's a different type of respect for each other as well, other than I'm just being me dad or stuff like that. You
Yeah,
know.
no way. That's cool. And I'm happy that you have that. You know,
Yeah, it's to
um,
be honest, it's like one of them things. It's like I take it for granted sometimes, you know, like because it's normal for me. Like this, people are like, "Oh, it's unbelievable that you're a fighter." I'm like, I've always been a fighter, so like I take little things like that for granted all the time, and probably shouldn't. Know what I mean?
but
But
it's you're acknowledging it, so you know it. So it's not.
yeah,
It could be worse. You could be completely oblivious to it. But
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
at least you have the wherewithal to
I think
kind of
it's more when
understand it.
people say it to me now in a
Yeah.
sort of
Okay. Yeah.
way, and
Yeah.
I'm like, "Fucking hell, yeah, Jesus,
Yeah. Yeah. So UFC Fight Pass.
yeah."
How do you know beforehand that it's going to be on Fight Pass or
Yeah, so I fought the first pro show I fought on was Cage Conflict,
yeah?
and then I moved on to Cage Fight Series, and Cage Fight Series they were a UFC Fight Pass show, so we knew we were fighting on that. Had two fights with them. Then it was Anthony Pettis' show APFC,
Yep.
so fought on that. Then that was a UFC Fight Pass show,
Okay.
and then obviously I progressed on to Cage Warriors now.
How does it feel to kind of be, say, loosely associated with, you know, the highest level of combat sports?
Um, it's unbelievable. Like,
Yeah.
but like that, I don't stand around these people and think like, fuck me, that's Anthony Pettis. Like I actually, when I was changing gyms, he actually ended up. I had an in-house management, and I was
Okay.
so used to having a management, and then I was like, when I was changing gyms and stuff, I was like, I need to find a management. So they were sort of like just came around right place, right time, and they were managing me, and then I sort of realised, oh, I actually don't need a management, and so I actually stepped away from them. No conflict or anything like that. Just I realised that I didn't need them as much as I thought I did.
Yeah.
So I started taking a lot of responsibility for myself and things like that, like negotiating with people and stuff, speaking to sponsors and looking for sponsors myself and things like that. And then when I moved on into Cage Warriors, um, I had actually asked Graham Boylan um about management, and he was actually already at the asking Andy, I think, and then that was that. Then it was just
Okay.
sort of kept together, and
It's cool to kind of maybe do that. Excuse me, for yourself. Maybe in the beginning, because then you kind of get an understanding of how these relationships,
yeah,
between sponsors or
that's it.
between.
And I think I had already like I have a lot of sponsors who are like really like they're close to home in terms of like they're not from the area, but like that Vinny, like
Yeah,
he was his young fella was training in the gym. I was coaching
they're
him.
personal.
They're
Yeah,
personal, know what I mean? So I had like I had use of like I had experience is probably the best way of saying it, of dealing with sponsors and speaking
yeah,
to them and building relationships with them, like and then I've actually like gotten a huge sponsor on board recently. The prize guy, like Paul is like, but that's what he sort of looks for. He wants to build a relationship with you
That's
and
cool.
stuff like that. So that was nearly like bread and butter for me. You know what I mean? It's like messaging them when I have fights coming up and stuff like that, letting them know what's going on. So they're all things I was used to doing with like the likes of Vinny and stuff. Like any fight news I get, Vinny's the first to know. No, that sort of way, because
cool.
he's been there the longest, and like he has a real love and interest for us. So
awesome. All right, I got 2 more questions here for you. What is it about the community of combat sports that you like the most?
Like obviously just your home gym in general, like Team Ryano was like, it's like a home for me now, know what I mean? Like as soon as I went around to that gym, like Andy and Neil and Reds are sort of like straight away I was training with them, just in fight camp, like just going around doing the odd session or two. And then I realised after a fight I was like, you know what, I think I need to be spending more time around there. I'm getting more progression around there than I am where I am, and then things just came to a halt, and I was like, right, I had to make a decision. Like I was made a decision, and I chose to train there, and they sort of just took me under the wing straight away, and I had sort of blended in with all the lads as well. And I find when you're someone with as much experience as I have, we walk into a gym and everybody knows me, and you sort of have like a baseline level of respect before you even get to know the lads, and sort of like realise how much you get along and stuff like that. So I think that's one of the best things about the sport. It's like you walk into a gym, and no matter whether you're a pro fighter or you're a beginner, there's a baseline level of respect there for everybody. Know what I mean?
Yes.
Any sort of issues or like conflict of interest, they're all left at the door. It doesn't matter once you walk through the doors. You're a team, you're a family. You have to be there for each other, and I think that's one thing that Andy makes, like he makes it known from the start, and it's like it's a big thing in our gym. It's like it's a community. And then like for instance, like going away to Banktown, like you're going down and they might have like they have the regulars in the gym, but there's like lads like from all over the world, like lads like I've been matched to fight. There was a young fella there, I don't want to butcher his name now, but Mukadeen, I think his name, like is how I say it. And he called me out after I won the Worlds, and I was like, yeah, I'll fight you, but I ended up turning out I had a holiday and stuff. But then it was like funny to have someone who called you out, and now we were at the training together, and who knows down the line I might fight him in the UFC, because that's where I know where both of us are probably going, you know. And then like going to other gyms, training with like Matthew Farrell was down with us yesterday. I fought Matthew Farrell for a title, and my last amateur fight, and it was great to have him down in the gym. Go in, there was no animosity. It was just like, oh, what's the story, bro? How are you getting on? And like that, even I go up to FAI for sparring, and obviously I fought some of their lads, and like potentially could fight some of their lads in the future. But it's like that. I find where combat sports, it comes full circle. Know what I mean?
The baseline respect, pretty much across the board. Even with if you're matched to fight someone and you get that, those kind of pre-fights, all that shit talking and stuff like that. Generally,
the way I walk it is like you're matched to fight someone, you better believe I'm coming to smash a bleeding face in.
Yeah.
This is the fight business at the end of the day, you know. But like that, there's a baseline respect for everybody. I'm not gonna go and turn around and start like trash talking someone's like religion or anything like that, or that anything to do with I couldn't give a bollocks about your background or I do, I respect it, but come here, it has nothing to do with us being in the cage, and I'm just gonna go out and tell you how I feel, and I feel confident no matter how I'm fighting, no matter how dangerous the fight is. So I'm gonna come out and tell you I'm gonna smash your face in, and if you have a problem with that, do something about it. And if you don't, shut your mouth and sit down and get your face broke. You know?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Easy as that, like.
So, had another question, but I want to ask this instead. Like how soon do you and like your coach and your team, like how soon do you guys talk about, like, 'cause you yourself know like you're on a path to UFC,
Yeah.
like, you're going to be there. When do you start having that conversation of this is what's happening?
Well, you have to sort of see the projection, I think, at the start of your pro career. Like, you're not talking about UFC and playing 4 fights. Know what I mean? It's not unheard of
Yeah.
nowadays. Like, I've spoke to Graham about this. Like, I'd ring Graham up and ask him for, like, Graham Boylan, he's my manager. So I've, like, rang him up and had conversations with him and stuff about, even about, like, that, is there anybody you think I should be going and training with? Like, I remember, because, like, I asked him about lads I should, like, is there any boys you think I should go and get experience off and stuff like that? Because I remember asking him about Sam Creasy, because I knew he had a lot more fight experience than me in Cage Warriors. Like, he was at the being the champion, and I didn't know sort of where he was going, obviously, because that's all personal stuff
Yeah.
in with you and your team and stuff like that. So I was like, what about lads like that? He was like, yeah, definitely, that would be a great body for you to train with. And then obviously he's your management, so he's gonna tell you, like, this is what we need to do to get to this stage. So he had said to me, like, we're looking at, you'd already have a loss at this point. So he was like, we need 4 more fights, and then you're sort of looking at contender series or a short notice fight in the UFC.
That's what's up.
Unless you're a really big prospect like the likes of Mokiev, it's probably not going to be like just straight in. Like, I think they throw you a curveball on purpose, like as in a short notice fight, or like right now you're fighting in contender series like Long Kavanagh. Like, I think he's 6-0 or 7-0, is it?
6.
Maybe 6-0,
I
but
can't remember. Yeah.
like that really, really good prospect, but you still have to go through that contender series route, you know? So it doesn't really matter who you are. Like I find, like, you're not going to get to the UFC off like the likes of a Cage Legacy or Cage Conflict, just them on their own. Like, they're your starting shows and stuff like that, and or like your builder shows. You know what I mean? Until them shows get bigger, and maybe one day they can be that sort of show that, like, bring it on. Like, I think like Sean O'Bannon got there, but like the same for women's MMA, flyweights, bantamweights, and maybe heavyweights. The route to the top is a little bit quicker because there's not as many bodies.
Yeah.
You know what I
The
mean?
pool's a lot
So
smaller.
yeah, so like Sean O'Bannon's probably like she's gonna be in the 1% of making it to the UFC from them type of shows. But
Yeah. Well, she
like,
was in Invicta before.
yeah,
Like, so,
well,
I mean, that's
she fought on Invicta, but like I mean, mainly all of her fights
oh,
were
yeah,
off
I
them
know what you
shows.
mean.
You know,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
need like a big CV.
Yeah.
But like that, like, she showed her level on Invicta, and like she's a really high level fighter. So like, no wonder the UFC are gonna want that. Do you get me?
Yeah, absolutely.
But like that, I think it's, you see how your first couple of fights go, right? I'm at the winning 2, I've lost 1, I'm at the winning 2 more. Like, then I had a conversation with Graham, and he was like, right, we want to be around that 8-1 mark because you have the loss. Where like Long Kavanagh went 6-0 and he just went straight there. So I think it's like taking every fight at a time, really, but that's the sort of in and around the mark you're looking at. Like, it's gonna be 6 to 8 fights or 9 fights.
Yeah. So it seems basically that the pathway's pretty well. It's pretty well thought out.
It's already established. Like, the blueprints are there, especially with Cage Warriors. It's
there's a lot of fighters.
It's one of the biggest feeders to the UFC, if not the biggest. Know what I mean? And you've seen everybody who's come from them shows do so well. Know the sort of way.
They do
like,
very well.
Obviously McGregor's the standout, but the likes of Jack Shaw and Ian Gardy and all these type of guys, it's like they're sort of the next generation, you know. And like, obviously, like Neil Seardy and stuff, like, he was like, he's probably one of like my biggest inspirations in the gym now, and probably one of the most valuable people to me in the gym, you know. So like, obviously, looking at that's the route he done. Now it's sort of like, because I'm part of his gym, it's like, I want that Cage Warriors title. I want to do what he done, and that's, you know what I mean? There's like little things of like people inspiring you. but like that, it's already established. Know what I mean? And like the likes of people like Graham Boylan who've been in the sport for fucking donkey's years, they know exactly what's needed, and they're constantly talking with these big promotions, whether it's UFC, PFL, or like PFL, Bellator. They're all the one now, aren't they? But,
Yeah.
like whatever other big shows there is out there, like
Brave
KSW,
yeah.
Brave One. Like they're probably talking to these people every couple of weeks, you know. So
That's good.
like if things are changing in terms of like now we want people with like for the Ultimate Fighter, I think you only need 5 fights experience.
Okay.
Know what I mean? So like there's another one. So if the opportunity for the Ultimate Fighter comes up, you probably only need 5 fights to get into that, you know.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be 5 wins either. It could be 4 wins and a loss, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean. I've seen lads in it with 3 wins and 2 losses, you know. So they already know all this, and that's what I think it's good reason to have a management, and especially like people who have your best interest at heart.
Yeah, for sure.
Because at the end of the day, you're making them money and they're making you money. It's
very symbiotic.
Yeah,
that's
like
the word.
venom in it. There
Yeah.
you go, symbiote.
Yeah. But
sorry, no, walk away.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, like, it's the blueprints are already down, and like I think it's when you have a good management and stuff, or like a coach who's in it as a long time, like Andy Ryan. Like Andy Ryan already knows.
Where they know the game.
Exactly,
they
know
it
it inside out. People who've done it already, like Paul Redzer and Neil Seardy, like they're like the best thing about fighting. Nobody bleeding blows smoke up your arse, or like
you can't.
Yeah, they can't.
Yeah, it'll backfire.
Or they won't lie to you. There's no point in saying, yeah, you're gonna be in the UFC in 3 fights, bro. You're the business, and then 3 fights go by, and you're like, why aren't the UFC ringing me? You know. So there's no room for like messing around in this sport. At the end of the day, you're getting in there and putting your life on the line every fight. So and even in the gym, like as you're saying, like a couple of people getting injuries recently, like my friend Corta, that young fella Ian, and like you're out, like there's always horror stories around the corner, you know. So and then obviously getting in and fighting, you're getting in there to break somebody. So there's no room for messing around or like pussyfooting around. What's gonna happen?
It's
like
serious business, for
exactly,
sure.
yeah. And I think you have to treat it like a career sometimes as well. It's like you have to understand where you're going with things.
Yeah, no, like you said before, when you're kind of thinking about, should I quit my job, go full time in this? It's difficult to do something really well with one foot in,
exactly,
one foot out,
yeah.
You know? So when you kind of make that decision, you know, and you can kind of go all in, then I think you really, even maybe yourself, you really see your true potential.
Yeah, exactly. I think I heard a quote before, and it was like, "What's the point in having Plan B if Plan A is gonna work? So if you just put all your time and effort into Plan A, eventually it will work. Like obviously, there's gonna be ups and downs with anything, but like if you just plan on that working."
Yeah, definitely. Look, I really appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this talk.
Yeah, me too.
I look forward to, your future.
Next fight is July 20th in London against Gilwani Scott. Good opponent. So yeah, tune in.
Awesome. Do you have a link for tickets or
I have
or whatever?
a link for tickets. It's on my bio. And then
I'll make sure everything's down below as well.
Yeah,
so,
appreciate that. Yeah. I'll even send you the ticket link on.
Okay.
Ticket link is on my bio. And any other information coming up to the fight will all be on my Instagram. I work mainly off that. I don't have me Twitter set up properly yet. I don't even know how to use it. So
no, me either.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah. All right. Look. Again, thank you very much, sir.
Really
I appreciate
it. Having me on. Yeah, thank you.
All right.